Hey, Kidmin Nation. Lots of our time and money gets invested to create and purchase resources for our families to use at home. After all, Kidmin leaders realize the importance of equipping and resourcing mom and dad so they can take the lead in their child's faith walk. So many of us devote a portion of our time and budget to supply families with resources. Books, CDs, devotion, worship kits, you name it. And I'm sure every one of you has experienced the true joy of going into your church's email software, opening up and seeing that the email that you had just sent families full of amazing resources for them has been opened by every single one of them. And not only opened, but they have already emailed you thanking you for supplying them with amazing resources that their family has absolutely loved, right? For many of us, this is sadly not the case. It's actually a little bit discouraging when we go in and we see that families haven't even bothered to open the email. For Easter, I had purchased some amazing resources, physical resources, to put into the hands of my families. But then COVID hit, and I had to adjust my plans. So I created a digital resource kit. I made a worship guide just for them for Holy Week. We purchased Go's Easter extravaganza for families to use. And I even worked with a family worship band that I know, and I bought digital downloads of their brand new CDs for families. I was excited about this kit, and I emailed it out, and very few families opened it. I sent reminder emails with the link again, and still few families opened it. Even less of them actually used the resources. I was real discouraged. The families in my church were not engaging, not just with my weekly emails, but it seemed from what I was seeing and hearing that they weren't engaging in leading their kids at home. Church wasn't meeting, but parents were taking the time off instead of leading. So one night I was doing the dishes, having a little bit of a tearful come to Jesus moment. I didn't know how to get the families in my church engaged. I didn't know how I could get them to see how important it is for them to lead their kids spiritually. I was giving them quality tools to use, but they weren't interested. And I was questioning not only my leadership skills, but my effectiveness. But then I got a phone call from one of the girls in my ministry. It was her birthday, and her family had gone hiking for the day. And she needed to call Miss Amber because she wanted me to know that she finally gave her life to Christ. I had a few more tears at this point. This was a faithful child in our ministry who knew all about God. She was there every Sunday, every Wednesday, VBS camp, you name it. But it wasn't church. It wasn't my teaching. It was a walk with her family and a near-death experience that let her know that she needed Jesus as her Savior, and she took that step. I understood right then and there the message that God had for me. It's like God was saying, Amber, I don't need you to do my will. You keep telling kids about me. You do what I've called you to do, but then leave it to me. You see, it's not our job to make sure that the kids in our ministry follow God. It's not our job to make sure parents are leading them. As much as we wish it was, it's not up to us. It's up to God. But we are supposed to be faithful and do the job that God called us to do, even when it's discouraging. We need to give our very best when it's hard even, but then leave it up to Him. Listen to the words of 1 Corinthians 15:58. It says, Therefore, my dear brothers, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. Keep doing the work God has called you to do, even when it's discouraging and hard, because our labor, it's not in vain.